Andrew's going to pick it up with the King Jack 4 bet. Well done. And we're back.
I probably worked there. I used to do catering, so I worked like a lot of weddings.
All right, we're back. Again, guys, we apologize for all the technical difficulties tonight. I think we just got some ghost in the building or something.
Oh yeah, I guess like a delay or is it just immediate? No, like I know like post the archive, right?
Maybe it's just that our streaming servers in South Florida. Who knows?
You know, that's actually not funny you said that, but like it does bounce around.
It's
like,
not funny that you said that.
because earlier when we were doing the test
Insensitive.
stream, it went to Mexico.
Oh,
and
really?
Yeah, it bounces around. So like, it could very well be Florida or Houston or something like that.
So we got another blind versus blind battle here. It's folded to Danny. He opened the Jack 6 of clubs. Brad easily 3-bets the Ace King and just picks it up.
There's a serious question in the chat. Did we just blame a ghost? Yes, we did.
Because we have no other answers, so it must be paranormal. All the big hands have held up tonight. Ace, king, aces, queens, kings. And we've seen a lot of them on this table. I mean, I haven't seen myself that many aces, kings, and queens in months. You guys are hilarious in the chat tonight.
Man,
Thank you guys. Like,
Holds the Rotom and
Yes,
the 1. He's
that is
gonna
the real Neeme.
yes.
This is the Neeme and Owen's meetup game. They put it together. They put it out on their vlogs and social media that they were having the meetup game.
But like, if it's not the real Andrew Neeme, who else would it be?
No,
like,
no,
we have an imposter.
I think the question might be the Andrew_Neeme in the chat. Fake, obviously.
Oh, yeah, no.
Confirmed.
Yeah, no. Andrew is not allowed to have. We do not allow any electronic devices at the table.
That is, in fact, the real Dan Spector.
I like this not having to see the cards. It reminds me of the old days on ESPN. With,
Back in '98.
Yeah, when Scotty Wynn and Stu Unger were winning tournaments.
So Rotom opens, Danny calls, and then Danny elects to raise. Turn here. Flush draw comes in, couple straight draws. Get there.
Now, Rodham just showed Danny just showed a bluff. Well, he didn't show the bluff, but he just showed that he could bluff Brad. Do you think that's playing into Danny's head right now, or Rodham's head when he bets here?
It's not so much that he bluffed Brad, it's just that he's capable of opening a small blind with any 2.
That's about a 75% pot size bet. He calls.
Call, shrug. That looks like a 7.
It is a 7.
KG way to play the trips with the ace-7 of spades. Well done. Got raised. Just checked and called.
So, you know, we have a lot of big players that come in the room. And Brian Raths has become a really good friend of our room. He helped us set up he helped us set up the high roller mixed games. Did you guys get a chance to see him this week on Poker After Dark?
Yeah.
Where he made the incredible laydown with the deuces full against Jungle, and then he made a great call. He made that great call against was it Seaver that made that bet?
I didn't see it, unfortunately. So.
Oh no, he had a great 2 nights on the Poker After Dark. The one was the $50,000 cash game, and the other was the $50,000 buy-in single table satellite 6-handed. I don't remember. I think the second day was a $200,000 cash game, but he made some incredible plays.
Dallas, what were you saying about poker after dark?
I just thought that Ras played some hands phenomenally well. So that yes, guys, the table audio. We're still working on it again. But he played some hands just like, you know why he's at the level he's at to make the laydowns and the calls that he made in those games. I mean, it's John and I were actually talking about Rast about a week or so ago. We were talking about his when you talk to him, his conversation is always so analytical and mathematical. You know, when he talks about poker.
Yep.
I like talking to him because I learn a lot from him.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just the hand plays through and stuff like that. We also want to shout out Ali Najad, who's a big friend of the poker room. So Ali is he's a mixed game player. You'd think with all the no limit hold'em he sees that he would want to play a little no limit hold'em.
He loves mix.
He does. He likes to play all those crazy games: double board Omaha, Badesi, Badusi, Archie is my favorite game because nobody in the world knows how to play it.
Well, that's why everybody loves it, because everybody's convinced that no one else knows how to play it.
Right. And for those of you who don't know, the easiest way to explain Archie is it's 5-card draw Omaha, where there's an 8 or better wins half the pot. It's like Omaha with 5 cards, but it's a draw game like Deuce to 7. Where
This
you
is
get
not the best description. This is, in fact, the worst description. It is a poker game. It is a draw game. It is a high-low split game. There's a qualifier for high. It is 2 6s.
Here, yes, but a lot of places there is no qualifier.
Yeah.
So like you could be on a low draw, and
Scoop.
yeah, and you know your ace 7 is the best low and the best high.
Yeah.
Because somebody else missed, has got a 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. So your ace 7 is the better high. You know?
So the it's 6s or better qualifier to make a high hand. It's 8 or better to make a low, and split pot, triple draw, 5-card draw. That's it.
That's a great game, and most people draw to the low in that game. So it's kind of you don't like that.
I don't know. I haven't played enough to analyze the play in the game. It's different. There's a lot of guys that are very, very new at it. But, if you want to come into the poker room and check it out, we've got it in a few games. High-low triple draw, a.k.a. Archie. Check us out.
It's a great it's really a lot of fun. I like that a lot more than double board Omaha because I don't know how to play that one at all. Like, what's a bad hand in double board Omaha? Like, I remember I won a monster pot.
Quads.
Right. That's about the only hand. But if it's quad aces, it might be good. Like you might get half the pot on one of the boards. Yeah. Because it's a split pot game. So it's. I won a big pot once playing double board Omaha. I had a pair of 6s in my hand. I made a set of 6s on both boards, and it was good. Like how hard making the set is, and then actually being good in Omaha. Bottom set, it's.
Yeah. So you played terrible, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, because I don't. That's one of those games that, I call it a pit game because it's there's not a whole lot of poker involved.
That's
in
how
it.
I feel about the high-low triple draw.
Yeah, I agree with you. Archie's the same way. I feel like they should be out in the pit, and they're not really poker games. They're just something you want to gamble on, or something you see at a home game somewhere. Maybe we should play Archie with a high spade in the hole. Gets a quarter of the pot.
Oh my God! Shoot me in the
Don't put it out
face.
there in the universe.
Yeah, no, because they'll come ask us to actually play that. What's the new game that it started over at Aria? We just got a plaque for it. I can't even remember what it was called now. Because to me, it's the most non-poker game in the world.
No idea. Nick contemplating a play here with the gutter. Passes
No, he
the
folds.
opportunity.
Andrew's away vlogging again.
Getting some more content for the week.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see a big hand lose.
Hey, there's a
here.
good question. No auto shuffler. That's correct. The
No.
cards used for the live stream, which the RFID cards, are actually a little larger than the standard cards that fit into the shuffle machines. So, correct. We cannot use the auto shuffle machines currently with the RFID cards that we use here
Right,
for
because
our
yeah, they
Bellagio
just
pots.
don't fit.
Technical side of it, the cards you see used in poker rooms are actually bridge-sized cards.
Right, they're
smaller.
much smaller.
The
Right.
bigger size cards like these that we're using tonight are poker-sized cards.
That is true, which is
And
kind of completely backwards.
It's
but
counterintuitive. When I used to, need to order some poker supplies for various reasons, I made that mistake once or twice and said, what are these gigantic cards and what am I going to do with it? Interesting little three-way flop here. We got middle pair against top pair against the gutter. And it looks like Dan is the one that opened the 10-9 of spades. Yep. Got called. Oh, we got Danny and Dan.
Yeah.
So, Danny.
Danny's
Open
attempted
this
to
one.
bluff twice here. This has got to be playing into Dan's decision, right? Just calling here with middle pair.
Now, Danny's bet the best hand
Who
on all
folded the
streets
Jack
here.
10 on the flop?
Andrew.
Andrew. He was probably not calling the turn anyway. They got shut.
Yeah.
So
He picks up double gutted on the turn.
it's a weird spot for Dan here, Dan, because like I said, Danny's shown that he's capable of just betting all three seats, and he's lost both those streets, and he's lost both those hands. So he has a hand that has some showdown value with the nines.
Guys are giving Andrew criticism in the comment in the chat for being too passive. Unfortunately, the hand that I think some of you guys missed was the cold 4-bet with the king jack of spades.
Yeah. That's how you take down a pot pre-flop. It was raised to 30, raised to 80, and he 4-bets to 210 with king jack of spades.
And it was in a row. It was seat 6, seat
I missed
7,
this when I
seat
was
8.
out. Did they fold
Yeah.
to him?
Yeah.
Fold to him straight away?
Yeah,
Yes.
it goes open 3-bet, 4-bet, straight in a row, 3 seats in a row, and
And everybody folded back
4-bet for
yeah.
value.
That's an easy way to make $110, right?
Yeah.
Well, 110 plus the blinds, so yeah. Fabian has 7. Habibian, yes.
He's been pretty active tonight.
He has.
He has opened a bunch of pots. It's been unfortunate. He had a couple runouts.
That were very unfavorable.
Yeah, prevent him from getting any future action.
Yeah, the first one.
Check raise on the turn would have gotten him doubled
would've-
through there.
Yes.
Another suited 10-9.
I like those hands.
Looks like
In
a
position.
3-bet out of the 10-9. Vivian's going to let go of the 7 high he opens. Troyce is going to call with the ace-10.
Troy's got position here. It's a bad flop for Roden. I'm stating the obvious here.
Yeah, he's got the advantage of the 3-bet out of the blinds. Obviously going to put in a C-bet here. Relatively small. Is that 120? $110.
It's like a quarter pot size. That's.
It's a third, yeah.
Oh yeah, right. Because the graphic shows after the bet. Yeah.
120. It looks like the bet was 120. That's 120 and a call. That's a pretty good turn card for the 10-9 of diamonds. Checks
Yes.
it.
I think we're getting another. We got to check out a Rotom there. I was going to ask what you guys think he was going to check or bet there.
That's
a great check though, because he's never going to put him on the diamonds here.
Rotom's electing
Oh, it's
to
a
bet.
big bet too. Is that 320, 330?
Yeah,
340.
it's about 2/3 pot.
Yeah. It's enough to look like a bluff.
I kind of like a check there. I don't know.
I don't like checking there, and I just feel like because you have you just run too many risks. Choice hasn't shown us that he's gonna get out of line or anything.
But if Troyce has a hand he can't call with, but he can bluff with, you basically block him out. I mean, it's fortunate that he's got second pair in this spot and could possibly make a call here. But, you know, if he's got the queen jack, the only way that Rotom's going to get him to put another dollar in the pot is to check to him. Well, it looks like he's going to get paid off.
I think if he checks to him,
He moved all in.
Oh,
Whoa. That is a raise all in from second pair, and
that's a great blocker bet. Or a great bet. I'm not a blocker bet. Great lead bet from Rotom here. This is going to be interesting.
that's amazing. I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money just went in.
See, and what's he going to put him on? He can't. It's got to be ace deuce of diamonds, right? It's like what other hands he put him in. He's got the 5 of diamonds on the board. He's got the 10 of diamonds in his hand.
Wow.
3-4 diamond. I mean, like he beats all other possible flush draws he's got there. Did he float him with like something like queen jack of diamonds?
I don't think Rotom ever thought he was going to get that much money in the pot. Rotom's in the tank here. I mean, this is not
It's
a
only another
cut and
600
full.
to call though.
No, it's 685. Yeah.
Troy's all in for 1,000 and another 685 Rotom to call.
Wow. Rotom's confused. Like he was scratching his head. He's like, what could he possibly have here? That's not.
Looks like there's some accusation of nit roll here by
I was going to
by
ask
Rotom.
that.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, you know, it might be a little.
I don't know.
This term's gonna date me, but they used to call it Mubsy, monsters under the bed syndrome, where you're just terrified of the hand that beats you. But
what could he possibly put Troyce on? Oh, he
I
calls there,
calls it.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
like,
gonna
what-
go ahead and say nit roll, but it's a great hand. Beautiful check back from Rotom.
And he's trying to explain like how he just called. Like, what does he possibly think that? He's got the 10 of diamonds, so Troyce obviously didn't call him with, you know, a bigger flush draw there because unless he had ace deuce of diamonds and floated. But you would have thought if Troyce had ace deuce of diamonds, when it was checked to him on the turn, he would have bet with the 2 diamonds and a pair. So I don't know what he could have, why he thought that Troyce had a better hand there.
Big pot. Nit roll.
The
confirmed.
consensus in the chat is that was a nit roll or
Yeah,
something.
it just, like, I just don't know how you put anybody on a better hand than that right there.
Once
So-
again, guys, for those of you just joining the stream, the jar here is donating charity money to Team Rubicon. You can get the link in the chat by going to typing in !Hurricane. It's a group that teams up military veterans with first responders for disaster relief. They're doing a lot of work.
And that was something Mr.
Southeast
Andrew
right now.
Neeme wanted to make sure we highlighted
Yes.
here on the stream. He came
Absolutely.
on to play tonight, so we said we'd let the viewers know at home that that's something they got going on. So
Yeah. And you guys can donate straight away from the webpage in the chat. Habibian opened another one. Never found a hand he didn't like.
This is kind of interesting because the 4s, the 3, 5, the 6s, like a lot of the straight draws are out here. So like Andrew called the 30. I mean, and if he makes a hand with 3, 5, one of those will probably flop
They're
some type of
good
draw.
hands for him to make a speculative call against.
Right.
You'd rather the guy have 2 6s than, you know, the queen jack.
But if he flops a straight draw, it's going to be nasty because you're going to have set over set generally, and he's going to have the open ender, which would be just brutal.
Yeah. But he also has the possibility of just Andrew 3-bet this. And Nick just called. Man, how did I miss the 3-bet here? They're heads up. This is going to be a big one.
Yes, he's got a flush draw, and he's
Against-
not putting with the 3-bet. He's not putting Nick on the 4s.
He needs the running 5-5, running 8-8.
Let's put the 6 of clubs on the turn just for shock and awe.
Oh, yeah, there is. He does have some more.
just to get the game out of the muck.
Good God.
Of course, Andrew's going to continue with the flush draw.
Do you like a raise here from Nick?
No, let him
I
get there
do.
at the flush draw. Let him bring the flush in.
Neeme here is trying to dispel those nit rumors we heard here in
Right,
the chat, right?
There is.
Oh, he does raise there. Like,
I think the flat call sets off some warning bells. It's much more likely that the problem is in this spot, Andrew's got a 5-high flush draw, but if Andrew has a made hand as compared to the 5-high flush draw, the raise here from 4's full actually disguises the hand, makes it look weaker than it is potentially.
The other thing Andrew could be thinking here, though, is that maybe Nick has a pair, like 6s or 7s. And that would be a great raise for him there, because if he thought that Andrew had something like ace, king, ace, queen, he's not allowing him to take the card on the turn to beat him. So maybe Andrew's – we have to check with Andrew to see where he put Nick's range at here.
Unfortunately, I believe this hand is over. I don't know. Andrew's not giving it up quite yet. Wow, that is an all-in.
Wow, and a
Wow.
snap call.
Oops.
He needs running 5s here for Andrew to win this pot.
5-5, 8-8, or the straight flush.
Oh, there's the 5. Oh.
Running it twice.
Oh.
Second
Habibi
run out, king, king.
at no point, yeah. Habibi would have made a straight on the top board, which would have just cost him a lot more money.
Well,
Nothing like running it twice and winning both pots.
well, when you flop the full house against the flush draw,
Yeah.
probably going to keep all the money. Those are a couple interesting jams we've seen in the last orbit between the second pair.
Andrew still has a smile on his face, though. Doesn't look like you want to pay it off, though.
Going to be interesting to hear his thought process on that one. Bet that doesn't make the blog.
Someone said that won't be making the.
I bet you it does. Back in action
Okay,
here.
I thought maybe Habibian was going to open up with an 8-3 here. He's open quite a
He has not been real picky about the hands he's chosen to open with. Nick,
Oh,
fresh off his double up,
and it's folding.
looks
So
down at the
this is
king
probably
jack
an
of
easy
spades.
raise. Yeah.
Is there anyone in the chat that actually wins at 5-10 no limit? Serious question. Three-way flop here. We got two defends out of the blinds with the suited 5 and the other suited 5.
At least neither one of them have spades because they can really get themselves in a bad spot. This flop,
Just bet and take it. C-bet
Yeah.
wins. Second pair, good.
second pair on a flush draw. That's generally a pretty good hand.
That is an acceptable. The old insurance royal flush draw, backdoor royal flush draw.
How many royal flushes have you had in your life playing Hold'em?
Playing Hold'em, 2. One of them I was all in pre-flop with the ace king of spades against the 2 red aces, and the other
Sick brag.
it was hilarious. It's the first hand of a game. We started up, and I thought the guy was blowing a gasket, and then I got there and I didn't care anymore.
I've had 2 in my life,
Yeah,
too.
the other one I was playing limit Hold'em and had the 10-8 of spades, and made
Before
a flush.
card.
Made a flush on the turn and made a royal on the river, and somehow got bets paid off on both streets.
I once dealt I dealt 2 royal flushes within 3 hands, and the same guy lost both hands. And the second time, he was just like, there's no way you made a royal flush. There's no, like, he just lost to a royal, and he's like, there's just no way this is happening again. Yeah, and because he makes a full house in the hand, he's just like, there's no way you have a royal.
If I got shown 2 royal flushes in 3 hands, I think I'd just start bowling or something.
I only dealt 1 royal flush. You'll never guess who.
Doyle.
The great Johnny Chan. Good
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
Johnny Chan. It was on 5th Street in stud 8 or better.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So he only
No
won
action.
half?
No action.
Yeah, I guess he had some choice words for you after that.
No, not at all.
You know it was your fault. There was no action in the hand.
Clearly.
Well, let's
Why
get a
couldn't you
setup.
deal? Why couldn't you deal somebody an up pair? Like what's
know,
wrong
right?
with you?
Or a low draw.
Or a low draw, right? But then you got to brick the low draw because if you'd have brought the low in,
Dallas, this isn't that funny.
it's hilarious. And John, you would know better than the rest of us.
My lips are sealed, sir. A lot of criticism for the 5-high ship on the paired board.
Well, first it was too nitty. Now they're criticizing the
yeah,
ship.
no, I mean, well, I guess there is a happy medium. Here's the thing. If Andrew just made kings full every hand and won every hand, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't get any criticism. Outside of that, I don't think he can fade it, unfortunately.
Even if he, I mean, I guess it's curious to what he thought Nick had. He obviously doesn't think Nick has a full house there,
Yeah,
right?
which is why I like the raise.
Right, and even if he thinks that Nick has an 8 there, he's running it twice especially. He's not that big of a dog against the trip 8s.
It's hold'em. You know
with
how
clubs.
hard it is to make a pair? I have a flush draw. I've got 9 whole cards to make my hand, to have me draw dead. Is this going to be a 4-way flop here? It is.
Oh,
Got
set
a
of
set of
deuces.
deuces.
Hey, look, people just flop sets all day in this on this game.
Wrote him in the 1 hole here with a
Top pair.
top pair.
Okay, let's see how they feel Andrew plays this set of deuces. He was too nitty, then he was too aggressive. There's the race. Or no, that's just a call. I always root for cards like the 4 of hearts on the turn. I just like to see them.
A little bit of Habibian Hollywood there with the ace-10, no pair, no draw, and the bet call flop. How much value can you go for here?
I guess, do you think that Rodham has the flush draw, or do you put him on a queen?
Does that affect your bet sizing? That's the real question.
I think it does. Like if he has a queen, you want him to call. If he has a flush draw,
You still want him
you
to
still
call.
want. But
But you want to make him call more than
right,
he's supposed to
right.
be calling, obviously. So 240 into 300 and change and a call. So 800 in the middle going into a river with one of the players drawing dead.
yes.
Pretty good card for both hands.
I think Andrew gets paid off here because the 2 pair with the jack kicker here might make Rodham think that if Andrew's betting a flush draw, he's got the best hand with the queen.
Yeah.
Or even with his queen 10, if he thinks that Andrew might have a queen 10, queen 9 suited hand there, he's chopping the pot with him. He's getting his money back plus the money from Habib and Choice in the pot.
Looks like
That's
he's going to pot it.
Oh, looks like
620-ish. Pretty good sized bet. Tough spot for Rodham.
it is.
He loses to the ace-4 of hearts, the sets, queen-jack, king-queen.
I'm going to prediction here based on as long as it took Rodham to call with the flush. I bet we get a fold out of him here.
You're probably right. I think the fold is more
There's a lot of
indicative.
Hands that beat him.
I think it's more indicative of the bet size, though, right? Like if Andrew bets like
It's a great bet.
320, 350, does he get called? Like does it?
It
make
looks like he's screaming for a call. I think the bigger Andrew bets here, the harder it is for Rodham to get away from top pair. Orange chips are $10. Black chips are 100.
Yeah, we play
Thank you.
10, 20, or 5-10 with $10 chips. I know most of you play with the green and red chips. We play with $10 chips here at the Bellagio.
It's actually interesting to see guys come in from out of town that aren't used to them.
And they always go grab a rack.
yeah,
of,
go get chips, come to the table.
Yeah, they always grab the green chips.
Rodham.
Well, actually, we
Deep in
only
the
use
tank
green
here.
chips on 25, 50 games and higher. They do play in the games. We just Even our
Not the
10
standard
20
for the,
yeah,
for the
our
game
10
size,
20
yeah.
game we play with $20 chips, 10 20 and 10 20 40. If we get the
I absolutely love our $10 and $20 chips
Kodum,
for the 5, 10,
Rhoda
10,
makes
20
the
games.
call
he
here.
does call.
Well played by Andrew.
We always have this conversation here. What color are we can't call the $20 chips yellow because the $1,000 chips are yellow.
Right.
Can't call them orange because they're like that in between orange and yellow because the $10 chips are orange. What color are those, Craig? As the director,
Why are you going to put me on the spot here?
because you're the boss. What color are they?
I call them bright orange.
Bright orange. Ask a stupid question, get a stupid answer.
Are you going somewhere with that, Dallas?
No,
Or
I just like it's kind of like a joke in the room because it's like nobody knows what to call those.
Future yellow. Denver Bronco
Oh,
color.
and correct in the chat. These are the $10 chips. The ones that Dallas was referring to was the $20 chips.
Right.
The playing are 10, 20 games.
I
So
gotta-
correct.
I
And
gotta
they're-
be honest. I think
Now they're stepping in as burnt orange, stale orange.
These you could be either or, yeah.
these $10 chips. In
Is
my
the dress
humble,
purple or gold?
my humble opinion, these $10 chips are the single ugliest chip in the
Oh, come on.
combination of chips available to us at the Bellagio.
Halloween orange. I do like that.
Halloween. There you go.
Horror
Halloween.
show orange.
There you go.
go.
I think the worst chip
Pumpkin
we have
chips.
is we have a 918 game here, and those $3 chips
No, what color are those?
Gray.
they're brown.
They're brown.
Yeah.
All right. You're
Ish,
telling me
brownish.
those are brown.
Yeah.
All right. I might be colorblind. I must recuse
I think they're
myself.
more brown than they are gray.
I thought they were completely
When you guys figure it out, let me know. Okay?
unambiguously gray.
You know what drives me crazy about those chips? It's the only chip we have that doesn't multiply into 100.
Oh, yeah, you get 101, you get 99.
It's
Or
102. Yeah.
Because math.
Yeah.
What color is the green table they were playing on? Stop messing with my brain.
Pairs of flop
$3
sets
a
tonight.
pound for sure.
Big pairs have held up.
Now here's the question: can the deuces go back to back here?
Looks like he's 3-betting with the deuces, so they should.
No, deuces are in the 2 seat.
Oh. Oh.
This is a
I love
3-bet from Troyce with the 8-7 of
I
spades.
love the 3-bet. I like the deceptiveness up here. And deuces have to fold.
Just lets it go.
Deuce 4 of spades called? No. Okay, he laid it down.
It's another spot where it's tough with a player behind you to go set mining and possibly just put in $150 for the pot to get blown up on you.
$10 chips are orange. The $20 chips are yellow
Yellow
/ orange.
Is that Yorange?
Orange, there you go.
Alo? Rodham opening another one. Suited ace. Second into the pot is Danny with the queen 4 of clubs. Danny didn't come here to fold. Nick's got a pretty easy defend with the ace 10. 3 ways to a flop.
First one to bet wins. Rodham hasn't shown that he's the player who makes the play at the pot. So Nick's got to give him some respect here. He should just take this hand down. He hasn't shown getting on a line or anything, Even calling with the queen.
Yep, see that one's it.
Yeah. Outside of the knit roll with the 10-9 of diamonds.
Call off with the queen 10. I mean, he hasn't really gotten out of line. He just got put in the arguably tough spot to have to call with the 10 high flush, and then got put in the very tough spot where he's got to call off.
The
with,
more I think about that hand
queens
with
up.
the queens up, I guess I don't. What do you think he puts? The only thing he can put Andrew on is a busted flush draw to
Yeah.
call there, right? Like he loses
or
the king, queen jack,
or
king,
or
king.
queen X that he's trying to chop with, ace jack.
But for the size of that bet, you think it's
I
worth
like
the chop?
I like the bet sizing because
No, I'm
if
saying
Andrew's got something like 2 kings there, he's probably going to bet an amount like more likely to, smaller amount, more likely to get called. A busted flush draw there is going to bet an amount like 2/3 of the pot.
right. So I agree, but here's one of my. I think one of the misplayed things in poker is people who call to chop a pot.
We've had this discussion.
Yeah, like I just think it's
It's an interesting spot, and you see a lot of spots where you get the massive overbets from the guys that think they might be chopping to try and
Right.
combat that. It's an interesting dynamic when it comes up.
like there's a 4-card Broadway on the board, and a guy bets $1,000 into a $120 pot. Are you calling there? Like, what's for $50? I just feel like there are better. The one I think is just to me the most egregious is the 2 pair on the board, and the guy bets with the ace kicker, and then he gets called off by the ace kicker. Like I just.
Rhoda makes a good fold there with second pair. Interesting.
All
run
right,
with
light
the
it up here
round
with
pair attack.
some cocktails.
Round number 2 or 3 here.
Yes, we do serve alcohol at the Bellagio, and yes, it is free. That's like the nice thing about Vegas. John and I, we've been to some casinos throughout the country where alcohol is not free. Like,
Unfortunately.
yeah.
It's
And it's actually expensive. It's like $7 for a bottle of
Oh,
beer. Yeah, it's like
There's more places where you have to pay for booze than don't, I think. I
the
mean,
only
out
place I know of.
California.
You pay in California? Or
Oh,
you-
yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying that for free is here in Nevada, and maybe
Maryland, Pennsylvania,
you pay there.
Oklahoma, you have to pay for booze in
Yeah,
Florida.
I think Mississippi and Nevada are the only places.
Mississippi, Louisiana, Nevada.
Are the only place I know you get it free.
Yeah.
Illinois, it's really expensive because there's like an alcohol tax on the alcohol they serve in the casinos. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Here's
You
an
can't.
interesting
How
one.
can you get drunk and have fun?
Habibian opens again with the 5 high. Troy's right next to him. 3-bets him with the ace 10. Heads up to a flop. We'll see if Habibian finds a way to put another dollar in. Yeah, Louisiana booze is free. And even the places you got to pay for the booze in Louisiana, it's
It's yeah.
pretty much free.
All right. This is like if he doesn't raise here. Okay.
Just let it go.
The show, the Hollywooding is just like that's probably my biggest pet peeve in poker. That's why I love Greg Merson so much when he won the World Series of Poker main event, because he just he was quick to fold. He never Hollywooded. He never
No one's quick anymore, buddy. Everyone is very deliberate. It's kind of the way
speaking
things are
of,
going.
Shot clocks, tournaments become the norm.
Yeah,
I love them.
there's a lot of efforts being made to speed up the game between
Yeah,
that
I
and
think
the
so.
the ante out of the big blind as compared
Yeah,
to
I
per
think
individual
both. I
player.
think both the clocks and the ante are going to come standard at some point here.
I love them.
Yeah, I do too.
I've been a part of flooring some 25K and 50K tournaments with the shot clock,
Yeah.
and the next day we'll do one without. Same blind structure. It takes an extra 8.5 hours because everybody's stopping to think about hands they know they're going to fold. It's just.
But in the shorter time frame, the players are actually playing more hands per level.
They
It's
are,
not that
because
the
they gotta
tournament is
go,
shorter.
right,
It's
right.
actually theoretically longer or more hands, I should say.
More hands, right?
Yeah.
But there's just none of that stalling and just taking.
And we are on board with our partners at WPT for 5 diamond when we get down to 10 tables, I believe, so we get down to 80. We'll be 8-handed.
Yes.
We will implement the shot clocks in the upcoming 5-diamond as they've started on the main tour here for World Poker Tour. So
Oh, so that's only going to be. We're not going to do it for the whole tournament.
not
but
for the
when
whole
we get-
tournament. Yeah, we get down to I believe what they're doing is 10. We'll find out before the end, as far as start of this tournament, but 10 tables. So we'll
I love
play
it.
8-handed. Yeah.
I love it.
So Andrew opened in the cutoff here with the King Queen. Danny never found a hand he didn't like. Calls the Jack Deuce. Stand behind him. 3-bets it with the mystery hand. Andrew comes along. Danny calls again with the Jack Deuce and picks up a gutter. C-bet might win this one pretty easy here for Dan. Bets 250 into about 400 and picks it up. No hand needed. Well played. Showing. Queen, queen.
Tough hand to play on that board.
It's Hank from Breaking Bad. Trying to peel some information out of Andrew on his hand strength there for defending his open in the cutoff.
There's our must-move game for the 5-5-10.
Those guys showed up for the chance to play on the stream tonight. They didn't have a seat in the main game, so we're going to give them a shot tomorrow if they want to come back and play on the stream.
Here's a good question in the chat. How do we explain how we can see the hole cards? There's actually RFID readers in the tables and the cards, and then that just basically gets automatically inputted into a graphics program. It's a lot easier than hiring a couple guys to sit in the back and peer at a little closed-circuit monitor
That
to
whole card game.
read cards. I have been party to that before. It's not a lot of fun. This does
Old
make it.
school there.
Yeah. Makes it makes
Those
it
guys
a
had
lot
to be quick, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just remember
Problem is, we're on a 30-minute delay, so we are actually watching the same delay you guys are out here in the commentary booth.
Right.
So 30 minutes delay per the gaming control board here. So what you're
So
seeing
the
happen 30
players at
minutes
the
ago.
table
cards.
don't get it. They cannot get any. We don't allow electronic devices on the tables.
Correct.
And even if we did, they couldn't get any information unless it was 30 minutes later.
That's correct.
You can't, send the 2 texts to tell somebody to fold and
Yeah.
the 1 text to tell them to call.
It's an interesting discussion, like at the main event of the World Series, where they do the same thing with a delay, and when the players go on break, they're getting texts from their friends like, "Hey, in this spot, your opponent had this," and
Sure.
he's
Well, we've seen on a
capable
lot
of
of
this.
streams where they just now start showing the cards as to not have to go to their friends.
Right.
But
I actually don't mind at the WSOP where you can go and see the cards 30 minutes later. Because as a player, it gives you an opportunity to change up your play. If you were bluffing a lot or playing a lot of, then you knit ups, and then the next time, you make a big hand, somebody's going to pay you. I like the ability to try and mix it up.
I think these guys are doing a flip. It's the only thing I could figure. I saw the graphics just explode. I think it was everybody put in a certain amount and they just went straight to a flop. Otherwise, it's just very interesting that it went open to 30 and 7 calls. That's all I can assume is they just agreed to put in
why
30.
did none of the graphics show up?
No,
What's
I
that?
think it was open to 30 and bomb pot is what they're calling it. Someone knows more than me.
I like bomb pots. I also like the
Explain this concept to me.
bomb
Does
pot.
everybody put in 30 and go
Everybody
straight
puts
to
an
a
X
flop?
amount of. I've never seen actually in a 5-10 game. Normally, it's in our 10-20 games or whatever. So they all throw in $100 or
Yeah.
200, and you can't bet before the flop. Then after the flop, you play your hand.
Okay.
Which makes it tough.
There's
you
there-
absolutely cannot put anybody on anything there.
There's a everyone puts in flop comes, play as normal. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There's actually a game that's structured like this. It fails to ever go, but it was
The free
guys.
flop.
Yeah, guys
Yeah.
were trying to reinvent games in a poker room, and basically it's post blinds, go straight to a flop, and there's somebody under the gun who can call or fold.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was
think
a
I like
raggedy
it.
game. No, I also like the bet.
Here we go.
We have a button game here where they put money on the button, and only the person on the button can win that money. So if it's $100 and you don't win the pot when you're on the button, now I'm on the button. I got to add 100 to it, so now it's 200. But you can't. I have to win the pot to get the 200, and so on. We move it around the table.
Heads up here. We got
Danny
the,
with the mystery
the
hand.
gutter.
Is that check or is choice?
Danny has shipped it here.
Oh,
That is a massive overbet.
okay, Troyce, just fold. No Hollywood. Let's just go.
There's $280 in the pot.
Yeah.
Ish.
And he's thinking about calling with the
Or
gut
no,
shot.
there's way more because of the bomb pot. So it's 240.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a big overbet.
King 6.
All right. That's above his average hand strength so far. this
So
stream.
far today. It's been an entertaining game.
Yeah. I am really looking forward to seeing it.
Did Troyce just state the obvious and say there are a lot of cards on a turn that would have changed everything on that hand? That's pretty much almost every hand, right?
If it happened different, it would have turned out different. Is
Yeah,
that what we're saying?
right, yeah. Like,
I've been guilty of saying something along the same lines as well, so I can't be too critical. I am really curious to see what Andrew has to say about his 5 tray of clubs play. Maybe just some good advertisement.
Again, a reminder for the viewers at home: this is the Neeme and Owen Meetup game. These are
Yes.
when they blast out to their subscribers, they're having a game. This is what we did for our opening night here of Bellagio Pots. See, opening night of season 2 for Bellagio Pots. We're back. We've got the schedule out online. We're doing 2 streams a week for every other week for the next 6, but basically 2-3 months.
if you want to be part of the Neeme Meetup game, just subscribe to him on YouTube, and he'll send out a message, and then the first 20 people or whatever he's going to have that night.
And if you want to be on any one of our Bellagio Pots games,
it's
a
poker
fun-
at reports. It's poker at BellagioResort.com.
or hit us up on Twitter at Bellagio at Bellagio Poker. Probably the quickest to get us on Twitter. But we're filling seats for the rest of the season, so we want to give. I suppose the last season we want to make sure we get everybody a chance to get out here and get on the stream and check out the game, get a chance to play.
Brad just put in a nice squeeze play here. It went open from Nick in the 9, 2-seat calls with 2 6s. He's got the 10-6 offsuit and puts in the 3-bet and picks it up. I guess that might be results oriented. That was a good squeeze play. But
And our next stream is tomorrow night. We have one, and then September 24th and 25th, October 8th and 9th, October 22nd and 23rd, November 5th and 6th, and then November 19th and 20th. And then we go right into the 5 Diamond starting November 24th, the day after Thanksgiving. And that's my favorite time of year. A lot of people like the World Series. I like the 5 Diamond.
it's great.
Yeah, it's not as hectic and
Yeah,
You know.
it's not it's hundreds of people as compared to thousands
Right.
upon thousands of people, but there's still plenty of action from the bottom of the room all the way to the top.
And I got another side bet with Craig. We had 761 last year in the main event. We paid out 1.9 million at first, 1.2
Hold on
million.
just a second. 791.
791. Yeah, and I say we're getting over 800, and
Yeah,
I think it's an easy.
it was
In
7
fact, I think our bet is
figures.
820,
I
right?
think 800 is a lot.
It was 7 figures for second place in
First
that
time
tournament.
in many years that's
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah,
So, again,
that was the biggest WPT 10K field ever. Am I
It
correct?
tied.
It
We-
tied.
But we had the
2000
biggest. We had the biggest payouts. Nobody. They didn't have.
For a
2 million
10K.
Yeah, they didn't have 2 $1 million winners in that tournament.
I'd have to go check that stats.
No,
but
it
we
was-
tied the Commerce back in 2007, I believe. They also had a 10K for 791.
Theirs was like 2.4 to first, and I think like little over 900 for second.
Okay.
So, Nick opened the king four of spades here. Got 3-bet by Danny, who flops
top and middle
top
pair.
and bottom against top pair. This is going to be a tough one for Nick to get away from if he doesn't choose to just get away from it right here.
And again, Danny's shown this
Literal any
two
two-card.
card play. Yeah, tonight he's
The thing is, he hasn't shown down any of these really wonky hands. You know,
nobody's
he's
shown that
taken-
he's bet a lot. You know,
Yeah, he's been
five or
active.
yeah, and then just mucked his hand.
Yeah,
So like,
he's
why
taken a-
wouldn't Nick think that king four is the best hand
Yeah.
here?
Danny might get 3 streets of value here,
There goes
except for
everything,
that
yep.
lovely turn card.
It's a bad river for Danny.
Check on the turn.
Oh, actually, no, he's got king jack. That's a great river for Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
'Cause,
think
Nick might
Danny-
have called there a small bet there, thinking that the king was good.
Not to be too overcritical here at Nightbot, but the E's and I in my last name.
Again, I am your host, Dallas Scott. In the booth, we have Mr. John Harden. You can hit me on Twitter at DallasScott73. John is the Great Hardini with an I. That's probably why he's confused. And then, of course, the Director of Race and Sportsbook Operations, Mr. Craig Lump.
I don't do anything with poker now.
Did I forget? What I actually thought about it and thought I had it right. Yeah.
Oh, Dallas.
One of these days.
We'll straighten
mean,
you up one of these years.
Honestly, if you could find a way to abridge this job title,
Every job that it's departments that nobody else wants.
Come on, man.
No, that's good for you.
I like to call it the non-smoking section of the casino.
there you go.
Race and Sportsbook was crazy today. Football started. Like,
Oh, football
I
started.
came in
Well,
and
I
everybody
mean,
was
we're-
screaming
we're-
and shouting
we're-
about every game.
We're 3 weeks off of one of the biggest fight
Oh no!
rights in a long time.
Oh, you talking about for
Yeah.
Canelo?
No,
Yeah.
no. For McGregor and May.
Oh,
Yeah, right. And then next week is Triple G and Canelo,
Correct.
which is an
I'm
interesting
looking forward
fight.
to
Like I don't know.
I can't wait to see this fight.
I don't know who's gonna. I want to say Triple G, but I just don't know.
That's what a lot of people are saying, but they're also saying he's 2 years older than
Yeah.
when this started getting
hype.
hyped up. So we shall see.
But his
be
last
fun to
couple
watch.
fights, he's looked so good. And there's something about Canelo's style that I think makes him susceptible to Triple G. Like, I just feel like he's going to get hit a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun fight to watch, but yeah, busy fall here between the epic fight a couple weeks ago. See the epically hyped fight, I should say, a couple weeks back, and the volume with that kicking right into football, and gonna be a busy fall around here in Las Vegas.
And then pretty soon we got our own hockey.
Yeah,
That's going to be crazy. Hockey fans are nuts, like
looking forward
soccer
to it.
fans. They're the
being from
ama-
Minnesota, did you watch a lot of hockey?
I watched a lot of hockey when we had the North Stars.
Okay.
And then when the North Stars left, I was kind of
There were a lot of people that felt that was a raw deal.
It was, yeah. And then I just never really got into the Wild after I came back. I was still bitter. It was only like 20 years later or something. But
Dan choosing to put another 3-bet in. The last time he did, he showed the 2 queens. This time he's got the ace-8 of diamonds. And it looks like they're going to be head up to another flop.
who's got position here? Dan?
Yeah.
Where's the? Do you like that call with ace-10 out of the blind?
Well,
Out of position?
Rodham opens and gets 3-bet by a guy that's been relatively active. If you're going to open the ace-10 early,
No, he got 3-bet by Dan. Dan's only shown good hands. He's shown the queens, the kings.
he has played a lot of pots, though. Now, granted, the last time, the thing in most recent memory is going to be that he puts a 3-bet and c-bets a flop and shows 2 queens. But it's ultimately, if you're going to get away from that hand, you should just be folding it first act instead of opening the ace-10 early. That's a little snug, especially in an 8-handed game.
Oh, we have a new dealer, Chrissy.
Chrissy in the house.
Yep. I'll give a shout out to all of our dealers here. They do an exceptional
Do an
job.
acceptable job. That is
Exceptional.
also accurate.
Sorry, guys. I haven't had much sleep this week. It's been a busy week. Dan opens with ace jack.
Raise and take it with the ace jack first time.
Good $20 win.
Oh, okay.
I think it's been the most action-packed game we've had on the
A lot
stream.
of pretty good hands here
Yeah.
tonight.
The last week of the last season pretty much started out guns blazing though. Eli
Oh, Elliot
ran a
Ezra,
massive
yeah.
bluff for like 80% of what he bought in for, and then found a way to just crush dreams for the rest,
For the rest of the
day.
time.
He was like a 20K winner in that game, and like
Yeah.
you said,
He got down to like 2,500 after the first bluff he runs.
What did he buy into the game for? I don't remember. 10K?
Ish. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
And he went from saying, "I can't believe I did this. I'm never playing on this again," to wins the next stream.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy. I'm gonna see a flop here. Where are they on flop?
No, we've got a
This is
bet
an
and a
interesting
call
one.
of 20. Habibian on the turn called $20 with the 8-4 offsuit.
Well,
trying
what, I
to-
don't.
What am I missing? We'll never know.
No, I mean, what did he? How does he call that bet and then not make a play on the river? Or
Yeah, maybe he got cold feet. Maybe he was hoping that it was gonna check to him.
he did buy in for the shortest stack
Yeah.
today. So and he's had a couple hands go wrong. So maybe that's playing into his mind.
I think he was planning on trying to steal that one if two barrels didn't get fired into him, and when Nick decides to bet again, he's just gonna give it up. Dan under the gun once again. Decides to let one go.
What? He folded Jack 10 under the gun. We've seen him play King 6, King 3, Jack 3. Maybe he's trying to change his image up a little bit. 10-8 is my favorite. Or used to be my favorite hand in Hold'em. I don't know why I play it anymore. I don't think I've won a pot with it in 2 years.
Yeah, you get shown Queen 10 quite a bit and have to say nice hand, unfortunately. Heads up to a flop here, folded all the way to Andrew, and he opens the ace-7, gets called by Nick to his immediate left with the 10-8.
Nice flop for Nick. Not a bad flop for Andrew.
Gutter
He's
and
got-
an
got it,
over?
yeah. He's probably calling a bet here.
Trying
right?
to get some of that 5-5 flush draw money
Looks like
back.
a $50 bet.
Andrew decides not to c-bet, just check calls with the gutter. Board pair, check.
Nick should win here with a bet. And what? Maybe he puts Andrew on something like ace-5, and he's going to bet anyway.
There's some room for creativity still.
It's like $70.
90.
Andrew says I'm done
Check
with this
fold.
hand.
Low variance route of playing the suited ace there.
Been a lot of interesting play, people mixing it up today.
if you're watching poker vlogs for hand analysis, then you're doing it wrong.
I tend to disagree. I think these guys do some great analysis of hands.
Yeah.
I do. And, like, when we talk to players like Brian Rast and Jungle and those guys, they're talking about they're always learning still. Like, even though they're at the highest level,
Sure.
they're still learning. And and a lot of those guys do training, and they talk about the things that they learn even when they're training people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
John and I were talking earlier that Super System Poker is, I think Super System is a great book still to read to start with, but nobody plays that system of poker anymore. It's
Well,
a much more wide open game.
There's the constant metagame of everyone being on the same page as far as this is the new strategy. Right now it's the card removal thing. I have this as a blocker, so I block this hand, I block that hand.
A great example of that was Vanessa Selps in the main event.
Oh,
right?
with the 2 aces against the 2 7s or whatever
yeah,
it was.
yeah, and
They were absurd hand.
it was, and it was funny because she analyzed that hand down to, I wish I had 2 red aces because I could have folded.
Because
she could beat A7 of hearts.
yeah.
And she was like, if I had 2 red aces, I could fold there because I couldn't beat anything else.
Yeah.
So she was like, it wouldn't be unlikely
Yeah.
that she had A7
Just
of hearts.
just because it's possible that A7 suited was a hand
Yeah.
that she got called by, she has to call.
Yeah.
But if you could remove the possibilities of A7 suited, then there's only one logical hand left. Anyway, the reason I bring up the card removal thing is it's a perfect example of that was the innovation that certain people came up with as far as a new concept, and it's become more commonplace. And there'll be some iteration above and beyond that where people will
That's why
adjust.
the Rotom knit roll was such a knit roll because what could he have possibly put him on? And he could eliminate all flushes that beat him there almost. The only one he couldn't have, it was ace, deuce of hearts. But you would think that when the guy you're playing against, when you check to him and he picks up a pair and a flush draw, he's probably trying to take the pot down there. Like,
Ace Jack of diamonds would have picked up a pair of jacks on the turn, right? No, it came back toward diamonds there.
Yeah,
didn't it?
right.
Yeah. This is an interesting one. This has been a 3-bet pot.
did Andrew flop another set?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andrew 3-bet this. Nick came along and flopped a gutter.
Raise.
Andrew C-bets it.
No, he's just going to call.
Nick's got a pretty well-disguised hand here.
Well,
That's going to end it.
Is Andrew going to bet here or check back?
He 3-bet pre. And then he C-bets. Honestly, he could do either here. I can't imagine. It's an interesting line to go 3-bet and then check. Although for a guy with 8 high,
Nick looks a little confused here.
surrender.
I have a gut shot.
Dang.
Apparently, when you come to the Bellagio and play, it's easy to flop sets.
That's all
It's
that
just
happens here.
You
amazing.
were saying earlier they don't hold up here, huh?
They've
This
won
is-
every time tonight.
This has been bizarre.
Normally, you're right. On every other stream, they've lost. But tonight, they've held up.
So Dallas, we got about another hour to play this evening.
Yeah, about an hour. I feel like there's going to be some fireworks coming up, though.
That's a good call. I think you're right.
Like we've seen a lot of pots played, and then the biggest pot was Neeme in his club draw against Nick's flop full house. They ran it twice, and Nick won both. Well, Andrew was
Probably a
drawing
big
dead
pot
on both.
between Troyes and Rotom as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the hand we were just talking about, where Troy tried to steal the plot with it. It would have been a good bluff if
Just ran into a buzzsaw.
yeah. And I'm not against bluffing. I like bluffs. I just think you have to pick spots. And I don't think it was a bad
Was
spot.
that high level
I think,
analysis there? I like bluffs.
I don't. I don't think it was a bad spot for him to bluff. I just think that he just ran into the one hand he didn't think was there.
So
Because
Nick-
he probably thought if Rodham picked up a flush draw on the turn, he would continue betting.
All right, Vivian's got a hand here.
yeah, Nick has opened the Queen 10 suited pretty early, and
He just gets rid of it.
might be looking to play some pots after his. What was it? The 7-5 last hand didn't quite go his way. 8-5.
Nick had he had position on that hand. I like the raise pre-flop. I guess because Habibian has played a lot of pots, I don't know that I necessarily give him credit for a hand there. He's raised a lot of hands, but he hasn't shown down a lot either. You're right.
Queen 10 suited and a 3-bet pot out of position.
No, he
That's
was
a
in
tough
position.
hand to play.
He was
Oh,
in
that's right.
He had
Habibian's in the
position.
blinds.
Yeah. That's got to be annoying for somebody like Andrew. Like you're trying to play poker, and people always want to interrupt you, like during the game. Like Bobby's room is a prime example. Like
I got
Ivy
a
in
good
there.
a good example of this.
Yeah.
Daniel Negrano, one of the last times he was in town.
Who's always good for taking
Yeah.
pictures with people, signing
So
autographs. He's always
he runs to go to the restroom. He comes back. He gets stopped by 3 people to take photos with him, and he never says no. He always says yes.
always.
And I asked him one time. I was like, "Does that?" I don't know if I asked him or somebody else did.
I think
but-
we had this
Uh,
conversation together. It
and-
was when he came to play the 25K tournament.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And he says, "Look, here's the thing. If you say yes to 16 people in a row, and you say no to one guy, that one guy is going to come home saying, "Oh, that Daniel Negrano is such a jerk."
Right.
And he doesn't want that. So instead, he just always says yes.
And
He's
Daniel's
like, it's-
always taking photo ops for me. He's really a nice guy. He's always the same. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it.
His image is exactly how he actually is.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's always fun. His hand reading skills are amazing. How is it $102 to call?
It's got to be a misclick.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's 120 because that's what
It's
it
like
looks
120 to me.
Yeah.
Shout out to our production team. They do a great job back there. This really isn't an easy endeavor to put together every week.
No, it's quite an undertaking to get Bellagio pots on the air. I mean, between getting it through the gaming control board and getting our technology partners and everybody set this up for us.
This is an interesting little play here. Troyce has decided with the ace of clubs in his hand to go ahead and put in a raise with no pair, no draw.
We've seen him do this before tonight.
Habibian has opened bet flop, bet turn, and Troyce calls on the 3-4-5. This is an ambitious play. This is the second ambitious play we've seen from Troyce today.
I think there's two things going against Troyce in his hand. Is that we've seen him do this before, which might play into Habibian's.
I don't think he had to show down his hand though when he gets shown the ace 10 of diamonds by
10-9 of diamonds
yeah
by Rodham.
yeah. I don't know if he had to show down the what he had Queen 10 in that spot.
But I think the other thing that might be hurting Troyce here is that his image tonight has been fairly solid in the cards he's played. So unless he thinks he's got 2 6s here, like what are you putting him on that he called pre-flop with?
Yeah. And he's making this play against the guy that's the most shallow.
Exactly,
This whole table.
which is another thing. Like Danny's probably the most shallow, but Habibi, and we've seen him play a lot of hands too. You know that his range is really wide. It's interesting.
Pays off.
I wish we knew what Habibian's hand was. Like,
Very curious. I mean, Habibian could have just 2 10s there, and
I think we're gonna have to make the spots bigger on the table for Habibian next time, so he knows where
He's
to
our
place his cards.
RFID
Yeah.
offender this evening.
yeah.
Always seems to be one of them, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
there
we
is.
have a
Everyone-
proposal about like a tip jar or something? If you like, kind of like the swear jar
Yeah.
for the missed RFID.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Oh,
All
speaking of tip
right, that
jars-
jar's looking better
That is not
as
a
the
tip
night goes
jar.
No,
on.
that is not. That's for donations.
We've got a jar in the room. They've also got the ability to donate to the same guys as Team Rubicon, who link up military veterans with first responders for disaster relief. If you're in the chat, you type !hurricane.
And this was Andrew and Brad wanted to do this for their vloggers. So this is for you guys, the viewers, to connect and get out there and give a chance to get back to, obviously there's been some hard times in different parts of the country these last few weeks. And they came to us and said, do you mind if we mention this on the stream? We said, of course not. We'd be glad to help.
Dan mixing it up here with the 10-9 offsuit. Troy's we've seen him kind of open up his play a little bit here.
These boys didn't come down here to fold. That's for sure. Nick defends with the 9-7 against the 10-9.
gut shot for Dan,
C-bet's probably going to do it. And it does.
and it's over.
Somebody asked if Nick is a pro. He is a 30-year-old financial controller from Evansville, Indiana. Plays a lot of cash. Recently won a tournament at the Win for $15K. But no,
Nice.
not a professional.
Nice hit. They're just telling you right now, he's from Indiana.
I don't know exactly what a casino controller does.
Craig,
Or
can you help us out with
financial
that?
consoler.
Yeah, that's your accountants.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't speak English.
Why
so
can't they
I
just
think
call them accountants then? Like, why we gotta have fancy names for everything?
Yeah, the controller's usually a little. Yeah.
a little
Might oversee
exactly the same.
accounting. Yeah, no. It's in the
We're gonna have a
accounting
pot
field.
here. Brad's raced with the king, queen of heart clubs. Dan's called him with 2 8s. We haven't seen a lot of the Brad lately. He's had a really bad run. Oh, Nick is 3-betting this, right?
Not necessarily.
just
you
flats.
don't. Ace
He's
queen's
out of
a-
position. He's
Ace
out of
queen's a
position.
tough hand to blow up out of position. Question is, how did they fill the table today? I'm pretty sure that Brad and Andrew just tweeted out,
Yep. Yeah,
"Hey,
there
we're
are
doing
no
the meetup
rigs.
game. It's going to be on." And basically, they showed up with a lineup of
Yeah.
players, and
There are no rigs here. I mean, Andrew's probably the only actual reg that plays in the room quite a bit. And look, another flop set at the Bellagio.
Gutter from Rodham.
And unfortunately, yeah, the Rodham is the only person that could call, and he's already folded. Who called that? Nick called with ace queen. You like to bet here when you turn the full house like that? I mean,
You're trying to win a big pot. You can't do it by checking a street.
and Nick is still calling. So it's a great bet. Sometimes I like you want your opponent to be able to catch up. How much can you get paid off here and represent a missed flush draw or missed straight draw?
It's gonna be. I mean, it's a straight up hero call for Nick to. I mean, Dan bet into a field of
Right.
4 on that flop, and then bet 3 streets. It's a pretty compelling story.
Yeah.
Full house declared. Another accurate declaration.
And both of them come from Dan S. So he's being honest.
Only honest guy in the poker room.
I try to never tell the truth about my hands. Oh, I was just a bluff. But I will show people my hand if they ask. I don't mind showing a bluff.
Dan, this might be the trifecta for Dan, I think, opening the 10-8 of diamonds this time. Abibian calls, and Troy's right behind him with the king-queen. This looks like a multi-way.
I predicted we're going to have a non-exciting flop because everybody's got everybody's cards. Nines are there, Jack 10, 10, 8, King, Queen. Nobody's going to flop a monster here because everybody's got the hands. The best hand
Instead,
here,
it goes, Rotom just bangs the nines full straight away against a flush draw from the guy that opened pre in the 6-way flop. This one might be interesting.
you know what? I'm
This
just going to
checked
start
through
playing.
6 ways.
I'm not playing poker anywhere else but here. If you just flop sets every time you get a pair, why would you play anywhere else? I mean, that's flop sets and full houses. Like,
Nick's going to give some money away here with the Jack 10. Rotom right behind him with 4 players behind him with the second nuts. Looks like he's just calling. And now Dan, who's opened this pot's got the 10-high flush draw.
he's probably calling in the pot he opened. But if he's been paying attention, he should fold here because he knows that everybody has a full house. This is sick, actually. Like,
3 ways to a river.
this is the only time that they're winning, though. Like, every other stream we've had, we had a lot of sets flop, and they lose. Like, but today they've made almost a full house on every single time.
I think Nick might find a way to lose some more money in this one, rivering top pair.
Dan
He bets the turn, no pair, no draw when the blank tray comes off.
what is if Rotom doesn't raise here, does Dan call too with the 10?
This is a rare spot where Rotom might actually make more money by just flatting and hoping for an overcall. But, it's more of an Omaha thing. It's hard for 2 guys to have a big enough hand to get the showdown with aside from you, especially when you make 9s full. There's the raise.
And he's not going to get called by either
But,
one.
if
He
you have,
shouldn't get called by
on this same board, if you've got 9s full in an Omaha game, you can flat here and hope that the guy behind you's got a dangling 4 or something. Dan easily gets out of the way here.
Ace 4, in an Omaha game, Ace 4, especially in an 08 game, Ace 4
Yeah.
wouldn't be out of line. 4-3, 4 tray wouldn't be out of line.
Exactly, and you can just flat hoping that you get that extra money in there aside from your hand is more turned face up when you put a raise in.
Either. Nick is thinking if he has a 4, why didn't he raise before? He's not putting him on 9s full here, right?
This is a very interesting pot. The fact that this went off 6 ways disguises a lot as well.
Why didn't he raise before the 4? That's what he's thinking. Like, if he has a 4 here, maybe he has a missed diamond draw, and he's raising to take the pot. Maybe he has 10-9, and he thinks that's the best hand. Maybe he thinks I was betting a flush draw, and I missed.
This is a good lay down by Nick there.
Yeah.
Shows it.
Nothing like putting money in a pot drawing dead. Something I tried never to do. Yeah, stating the obvious.
As a rule, don't give money away. Yes, sir.
That's some high level
Yes, sir.
analysis there, right?
That's why you hired us, right? 'Cause
Right.
we're on top of this.
Going to a whole new level.
That's right. The problem is that like we keep it simple and everybody else just thinks too much. That's what, that's why we're actually here. Because
We should do that
Now
$30
they're calling for
thing.
another
bomb
bomb
pots.
I like the gambling part. Dan,
got queens.
this is the 4th pot in a row he has opened. I'm pretty sure.
I like it though. I like him
Well, this
being
is
aggressive.
this is the spot that you're hoping for after you open 3 and you try and go for the superfecta
And Danny's in the blind. He's going to play this hand. Of course, he's going to do that.
Yeah.
And Brad folded a queen,
Queen
which
side.
might make this.
Let's see if it matters.
It kind of matters.
Gutter,
Yeah. And bet
C bet.
Danny's calling.
Wow.
Wow.
Just lets it go.
He played Jack 3 to the river with nothing. Like I'm surprised. Maybe he just decided to tighten up. Maybe he feels like
That's an interesting one. I mean, he's not terribly deep. He's got about 900 in front of him, but man,
That's a hand though, where like if the 8 does come off on the turn, he's probably getting paid off there, or making a big pot with Dan. Because Dan's probably not going to put him on the 9-7. He's not putting him on the queen 9, especially when he's got 2 queens in his hand. Did Dan come in again, or is he the? No, he's the blind. He was just putting out his blind.
yeah, he opened the 2 queens under the gun.
Andrew's going to play a pot with 9-8.
Vivian limped first in here with the Jack 5 of hearts.
You act surprised.
I'm just trying to point this out for the guy in chat that just said no money in poker. Everyone's solid. These things do happen.
See, I disagree with the fact that there's no money in poker, and the reason I disagree with that is because
This is why you've limped the Jack 5 of hearts first in, by the way.
and the thing, check it out.
Is that high-level play we were talking about
Yes,
again?
yes.
Yeah.
The time machine high level play.
Yeah.
Checks
I would never
through.
check that there though.
What is the
Would
second
they-
best hand here? Pair of sevens?
Yeah, like I don't
No.
know why he checks that there though. I mean, he gives the ace and the
Danny.
king a free draw to the naked ace on the king.
Danny in the 2 holes got top pair here. And just lets it go to a bet of 40. Andrew calls with second pair.
Second pair and a hard draw that he thinks might be good. I'm assuming that's why he's calling.
This is
because he thinks
interesting.
that might
The
be-
under the gun limper and the guy that limped next in are the only 2 playing this spot. Bet of 100, let it go.
Yeah.
Oh hum.
So the reason I believe that there is money in poker is because how many times a day do we hear, "How could you play that hand?"
Yeah.
Like, because people haven't evolved in the game. You know what I mean? Like, they think. I had a lady yell at me one time because I called her raise with 9-8 of spades, and she had aces, and I win the pot. Like, what am I
She
supposed
said, yeah.
Yeah, how do you, I'm like, what am I supposed to call you with ace king? Like, when I know, like, I mean,
No, then they're still mad at you.
right. No, like, I think that that's why there's money in poker, because there are a lot of, you have to pick your games wisely.
I always love when people put out tweets that say, "Here's why poker's not dead," and something
right.
absurd has happened.
Yeah,
and it's like
exactly.
they're right. Yeah,
You're
I
right,
always
you're right,
enjoy
you're
this.
right. I think the higher limit you play, the less of that there is. But even still, there are guys, and we see it all the time in Bellagio, with a lot of money that just want to play poker with some good players.
Sure.
And they'll come in,
And that happens at every limit too.
right. But, I mean, I see guys come into the 10-20 no-limit game and buy in for $100,000. And sometimes they win and sometimes they lose. But, I mean, oh, look, aces.
Aces for Brad.
So Nick's open first in with the queen 9. Brad, out of the blinds, gets the 3-bet the 2 aces. And Nick comes along for a heads-up flop in position.
Nick has either got to raise this or fold this, right? He's got to try and steal the pot or fold. And it's going to be a fold.
That's it. Bet and take it.
They haven't, nothing's,
I showed the table.
all big hands have won. Have we seen many ace kings, though? We've seen a lot of aces, kings, and
we've seen a
queens.
3-bet out of an ace king. I think it was actually from Brad. His 3-bet just picks it up. It's the only one I can think of, honestly. Plenty of big pairs, but no ace kings. Got a question in chat about, is there a seat opener? Is this strictly an 8-handed game? Yes, we only run this game 8-handed.
Yes.
There is that camera that you see that's kind of out across from the dealer, just so we have the correct angles for some of the shots.
And it's a more
unfortunately.
comfortable table for
That
the
as
players,
well.
for sure.
And it really drives the action. 3 blinds in an 8-handed game. I mean,
Correct.
we're having a discussion about whether or not that was a straddle or a raise.
It looks like they.
Is the 40 on? Because we do allow you to straddle the straddle at the Bellagio. So
It looks like the Live 20, Live 40 is on here.
yeah. So you could go 40, 80, 160, 320, 740 or 640. You know, you can straddle around the table back to the button. So that's always fun. And we had a game here one night that was like 100, 200, where they're getting around to like 1,500 around the table. Like it was so, and that was only with like 5 people. Maybe it was 1,600. So you go 1, 2, 4, 8, 16.
So yeah, the Live 40 was on. Folds to Choice. Choice raises it to $120. Nick defends out of the 40. Flops a gutter against second pair. Tiny bet. 130 into 250 plus.
Nick.
Tables have turned. It's gutter
Is Troy
against
gonna
gutter,
tell
top
us-
pair against third pair.
Is Troy going to give us one of those speeches about if that turn card hadn't been an ace? He's going to bet his middle pair and, middle pair and gut shot here. It's a big bet. He's trying to represent the queen 10, not the queen jack.
It's less than half the pot still. 250 into 600 or so. How about 250 into exactly 600? Nick's not in a berry patch of a spot either. There's a lot of hands that he could be up against
Yeah,
that he's
that could
drawn to
beat him.
chop.
Yeah.
Nick just lets it go.
I feel like we've had some nice pots tonight, but we haven't had a monster pot.
Well, we've had
Well,
2 instances of arguably people blowing a gasket. There's a lot of people making the argument that Andrew's right to put that much money in with the flush draw on the paired board. And then second pair, just basically turning a hand into a bluff. Outside of that, we haven't seen any coolers. We haven't seen the big hand against the big
no,
hand.
because every pair has flopped a set tonight, and every aces have played one, every kings have won, every queens, and we've had a lot of them tonight.
Yeah, no set over sets. That used to be our
Yeah.
our patented trademark hand. 4-way flop here.
Looks like Rodham's flop top pair. It's kind of a raggedy board. I know there's a club draw, a couple of straight draws out there, but
Rodham might just bet this and take it down 4 ways. And indeed, he does.
easy game. Easy, easy game. Again, if you want to be part of this, hit us up on Twitter, Bellagio, at Bellagio Poker. And our next, we have a stream tomorrow night, and then September 24th and 25th, October 8th and 9th, October 22nd and 23rd, November 5th and 6th, and November 19th and 20th. If you're coming to town, you're like, hey, I want to play in that live stream at the Bellagio, we welcome you. And we won't surround you by 900 sharks. It'll be fun. The baby said he was going to smash the flop. But he folded.
Top pair against the third nut flush draw, which gets there on the turn.
There's not going to be any more action in this hand. Somebody's going to bet. And
Somebody in chat just claimed that Andrew's making $1 per view on YouTube. Okay.
I'll take that job, or whatever
Oh
it
my
is.
God.
Like,
I'd be making 70 videos a day.
yeah, that'd be. I would be taking that man.
Once again, for those of you just joining us, we do have a little jar for some donations in the. It's right behind the table. It's for a disaster relief charity
There's
called
a lot of
Team
black chips in that
Rubicon. Hooks up military veterans with first responders, and they go into disaster areas. So obviously they're going to be doing a lot of work in Texas as well as Florida in the upcoming little while. Exclamation point hurricane in the chat gives you the link to donate to the same charity. Looks like we might have some movement in the game here.
Are we losing a player and gaining a player?
I hope so. I think that is the case.
Oh, looks like Danny, has exited his seat.
Oh, Danny's done for the night, huh?
Yeah. We'll see who we're getting in exchange. We should know momentarily.
And our normal must-move rules apply, so whoever's playing the other table must bring their entire stack with them.
That's correct.
So if they've been crushing the must-move game and they're up 6,000 or 7,000, they must bring the entire stack with them to the main game. This guy has no idea what he's in for. He's going to muck a pair when he should have.
All right, so we just got some exciting news for our viewers. Dallas, you want to tell them what's going on?
I'm assuming you're talking about Andrew Neeme coming in here to sit with us for the last half hour of the
He's
show.
going to come in and sit for the last week. We just got.
So we can
notice
ask him
live
about
he's
that
going
flush
to.
draw.
Ask him about some of the hands he played. Going to jump in here. So the viewers at home know what's going on. We here in the booth, we're on a half-hour delay. So the
Correct.
game's going to wrap up here in about 5 minutes. He's done playing for the night, and then we're going to come back. He's going to come back here and watch the last half hour with us.
And tell us why he did what he did, and well, hopefully, maybe he'll just tell us.
Atone for his sins.
Yeah, maybe he won't. Maybe he wants to keep some of that secret play. Like we've tried to get some of our like 10, 20, and 25, 50 players on, but none of them want to give up anything, which is like,
I know, right?
Which is funny because they play with the same bunch of guys all the time. I'm like, you're not giving up any information. Those guys know what you're doing.
So we've got a new player in the 2-seat. Moose Weatherman from Seattle, Washington. He is an airline pilot for an airline we've never heard of. Is that what that says? No, for an airline you have heard of.
Oh, he probably just doesn't
I
wanna
was
say who he
adding
works
names.
for. I got it.
So
It's suitable that a guy from Washington is named Moose, right? The only other place you could probably get that is maybe
Canada.
or I was going to say Alaska for the U.S. Yeah,
okay.
he's got to be. I mean, you ever ate moose?
Can't say I have.
I not to my own knowledge. I may have eaten it labeled as something else, but
I've had moose when I was younger. It's actually not bad, but I had it as moose sausage.
all right. We got a 5-way flop here.
Flush draw, top pair, middle pair. Could be an interesting pot. No straight draws out there. Let's see a card like the 7 of hearts. I'm rooting for the 7 of hearts on the turn. Rodham bets his flush draw. I'm sorry. Troy's bet his top pair. Andrew called with middle pair, and Rodham called with the flush draw.
Just the nuts on the turn once
it's not
again.
going to be too exciting. Check. Not the river doesn't really change anything.
Flush, not flush and a pair now for Rodham. Turn card check through.
Yes.
The only question is how much.
What will they call? This is one of those spots, though, right? Because, like, they checked it twice. Or they checked it's been checked twice to him. So what does he think that they have and what that they can call with? It looks like 320.
Yeah.
Which is almost
Popular sizing of bets here is 2/3 to 3/4.
But that was bigger than that. The pot was only 395.
How's it going?
All right, so we got some exciting news. The players in the game, we're going for the viewers at home know what's going on. We have they've cut the game for the night. We're on the half-hour delay here, so what
Right.
we're watching here is the last half hour of play, and the game has ended for this evening. So we have some exciting news here. Mr. Brad Owen has joined us in the booth.
How's it going, guys?
Excellent. We had having a good time. Had some good action tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah. All your big hands won. That's always got to be a good feeling, right?
that's great. I would have liked to have gotten in the mix a little bit more, but it was weird. I had either aces or nothing. So
Okay.
I think I had pocket nines once and aces twice. So I tried to get in the mix. I 3-bet a few times with some pretty trash hands, and that was kind of my night. But yeah.
So what was the vibe like at the table? Was it?
It was a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah.
you just have to give credit to these guys. A lot of them are, 1-2, 2-5 players who
So playing a little bigger tonight.
Yeah.
they're playing bigger. So I imagine it might have been a little tighter than a normal pots game,
No,
perhaps.
it was actually much more action.
Was
than
it
a
really?
normal Pots
Oh
game.
yeah, well that's good to hear.
Yeah,
It
we had
was-
some good action.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no, and the pace of the play was really good tonight too. Like I thought.
Good.
No, it was actually a great game. I
Good.
saw you guys were enjoying some adult beverages out there, having
We
a
were.
good time.
we had quite a few shots, and these guys are just really cool. They're all fans of the vlogs and stuff
Sure.
like that. We were having a good time talking and everything, and everyone was just super nice, and it was a really good atmosphere.
So did you know any of these guys that come in your
No,
meetup games
no.
before? or-
Me and Andrew, neither of us knew anyone.
Oh, wow,
So
that's
this is
awesome.
the first time we've all
Okay,
met.
cool. And how many meetup games have you done?
This is the 5th one.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
And a huge bonus, these guys get to play on the stream probably for the first time for any of these guys, I'm guessing. If you
Yeah,
don't
they
know 'em,
were-
we probably don't.
They were really excited to play on the stream.
Good.
I mean, this is awesome that you guys are doing this. I think that it's great that a property in Vegas is doing one of the streams.
Sure.
So,
was there anything that surprised you tonight?
No, not really. Nothing that surprised me necessarily. I guess it was just such a friendly game. It was just a lot of fun to play with everybody. So I'm just happy we all had a good time. And as soon as the stream's over, we're gonna continue the party. We're gonna go out and get some drinks over at the Sportsbook bar.
Okay, cool. So if any of your other subscribers or our subscribers want to go meet up with you guys, they're going to have them drinks here in about plays. It's going to be the streams wrapping up in about a half hour. As you know, the game has wrapped up for the evening. That's why Mr. Brad Owen has joined us. Again, we're watching on the delay here. We're 30 minutes delayed to as what's going on. So was this the last round of shots here going on?
This
about a
was
half
the
hour ago?
this was the last round. I didn't really eat lunch today, so or anything since like 11 a.m. So, I'm feeling it a little bit.
All right.
All right,
We got the mute button ready in case you get out of the line. So
I'm going to ask you about a hand that Andrew played earlier.
Sure, yeah.
5-3 of clubs.
Yeah.
That was
He got it
probably one of the two biggest pots of the night.
Yeah.
He got it in drawing dead against a flop full house, fours
Sure.
full of eights. What do you think about the way that hand played out?
It's just a giant cooler, pretty much. Also, this is a live stream. We're trying to do things to make it a little bit more entertaining. So we're going to be gambling more. Unfortunately, I wasn't really in a position to do that too much with the hands that I had, but Andrew was in that hand, and trying to make the live stream entertaining. So of course he's going to get it in once.
Apparently, that was the last round of shots for the table, but not for you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wow. So what happened was there's a must-move game going on. I don't know if you guys have touched on this.
Yep.
So Andrew bought shots for the must-move game, and any that were declined went directly to our table. So me and a few guys got some bonus shots, I
Okay,
think.
all right.
That might be what happened here.
So what's next for you guys? You guys been putting out some great vlogs rather. I mean, your content's great. I judge how good poker content is by I get enough here at work. But if I can go home and still watch it, that means it's really above.
Because it adds
top
some
notch,
humor,
so.
which is
Yeah,
like,
you
know,
guys
some
are-
people, a lot of people are afraid to. They think poker's so serious, but you guys add some humor to it. I think it's a great. I think both of them are great vlogs.
So what's next for you
Thanks
guys?
a
You guys
lot.
got any plans? I mean, more meetup games, more
Yeah,
traveling.
more. I mean, if you guys will have us more, then
Oh, yeah, for sure.
then we'll get in the mix a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
We
the
got a hand here. I thought I seen an ace-5 in Moose's hand. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought we saw Moose's hand for a moment, and he had an ace-5, and Rodham is betting into him. Maybe I mistake that. We'll find out here in a second. That's a bad run out. Brings the straights. Runner. You're not going to put him on a runner flush though, right there. Oh, he's got Jack 9. Huh. What do you do here? You already know what happened because we're on the 30-minute delay. How do you feel about this hand, the way it played out? And what are you doing with the Jack 9?
You know what? To be 100% honest, I didn't really see the action, so it's tough to give commentary. And Moose came in late, so it's
Looks
you
like
don't
he
really
was
have-
going to raise, and Rodham folded to his announced raise.
Yeah. But as far as long-term plans go, or even in the short term, Andrew and I would love to have more meetup games on. Well, that's great. You guys have the donation jar.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's if you just type _ hurricane, it'll take you directly to a link where you can donate to Rubicon.
We've told our viewers that this was something that you and Neeme brought to us and said we want to mention it on the stream, and just a chance to use your exposure to help give a little back to what's going on several different states these days.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, with Irma and Harvey and everything. Oh, here we go. We
here
got
we
Andrew
go.
Neeme in the house.
This is happening.
All right, so I'm going to step out here and let Mr. Neeme jump on.
We're going to talk about your big hand tonight. Let's.
We got some
Yeah,
hands.
we're
Let's
talking about
hold on just a
everything.
second. I'm going to step aside here. I'm going to turn the headphones over to Mr. Andrew Neeme, who's going to help these guys commentate for the rest of the evening. About another 20 minutes of play. Andrew, here you go, sir.
What a treat it is to have Andrew Neeme commentating in the house.
Your voice sounds nice in these.
Thanks, man. You know what? I'm really glad to hear your voice, and this is nice.
This is fun.
So,
we are.
Andrew, let's talk about the
I
hand.
feel like we're in a helicopter.
We're gonna. This helicopter's about to crash as we talk about this hand that we want to get into. That I know you guys want to talk about.
5 tray of clubs.
Yeah.
You raised with a hand pre-flop. I believe you actually 3-betted that hand.
3-bet it.
Yeah, you 3-betted the 5 tray of clubs pre-flop. You got called behind. The flop came. Nick had pocket 4s. Flop came 4-8-8, so he flopped a full house.
You sure did.
When you bet and he raised, what range did you think he had?
It's pretty rare for him to be flatting there with an 8. I think. I think his range is going to be pretty pocket pair heavy. And when he puts in a raise, it's pretty weird because I think my range should be maybe slightly polarized to like some really strong pocket pairs, like really big pocket pairs. And then I have a bunch of bluffs in there, like suited connectors and stuff like that. So for him to put in a raise seems pretty weird because he should be flatting to basically keep my range wide if I have suited connectors and things of that nature. Excuse me. I should be continuing to barrel away on some other streets.
I gotta be honest. I was surprised that he raised that hand on the flop.
No, he just owned me. He just knew what was up apparently, and he just owned me.
One thing is that there's basically 4 realistic hands that are going to crush that flop, and that's going to be pocket 8s and 3 combinations of pocket 4s. So that's a pretty big cooler to flop the flush draw and have him flop the boat there.
Especially because he called you a 3-bet. Like,
Yeah, like 4s I would fold there to a 3-bet.
Yeah, I just didn't expect him to ever be too strong there. Like he can pretty easily have like 9s through, I don't know, jacks or
that's
something.
kind of what
9s
like
through queens.
our analysis was of the hand, that he could have a pair, even like 6s or 7s, thinking maybe you had ace king or ace queen and you missed the flop, and now he's going to try and raise, to not give you a card on the turn.
Yep, exactly. So I felt like my range was fairly strong there when I put in the jam on the flop, and then even if I do get called by something, I still have I have flush outs to rely on, but apparently not in this case.
Yeah.
Although I did turn a 5.
I was gonna say you weren't even drawing dead on the first board. You had outs.
So yeah, that was a very fun moment that I'm glad all you guys got to witness.
I'm trying to remember the hand where you got all the chips back. You won another big pot. Do you remember?
Yeah, we flopped a set of deuces.
Oh
shortly
yeah,
after
yeah.
that.
And he turned the river. Everybody flopped sets tonight. It was amazing how many sets were flopped.
Sets are easy.
Yeah,
Sets are easy.
I think we've had 8 sets flopped tonight, and 6
Really?
of those turned into full houses. It's nice, yeah. And not only did you flop set, you got paid off on it.
Turny Donk says, if you're going to jam a flush draw, maybe do it on the non-paired flops. Yeah, I mean, I think that's reasonable, but I just don't expect him to be flatting with an 8 all that often.
I think the important thought is that you 3-bet pre-flop. I believe Habib raised, you 3-bet him.
Yep.
You're right. What other than pocket 8s or pocket 4s, like that's the only 2 hands he can have there, right? That you're.
Plus, he's not going to have like aces, kings, or queens very often. So, he's not going to have aces, kings, or queens very often. So, I mean, obviously, he just flops the nuts, basically. And you're representing really big hands. It's just very unlikely.
Habib is all in here. Habibian, sorry.
Oh, yeah, he just open jammed the queen high flop here.
Yeah. You like that play?
I don't know how much money was in there. I think he could probably get away with a little bit less, but I mean, he's only playing like a $500 stack. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty tough to get called by too much worse there. You're going to fold out a jack. You're going to get
Which
called
is
by
exactly what Dan S. Folded.
yeah. You're going to get called by worse queens some percentage of the time, but everything else has to fold. So you could probably bet a little bit less there. Go for some reasonable value.
So what were your thoughts of the game tonight, Andrew? We talked to Brad
I thought it was
about
fun. I thought it was pretty fun. There was decent amount of straddling. There was decent amount of beverages that were consumed. I was happy with the number of beverages that were consumed. Good group of guys. We had a really good group of guys. Good mix of people.
Yeah, there was a really good mix of play tonight. We saw Troyce try to bluff a hand with pretty much air. When Rodham went runner diamonds there. And Rodham tanked for a while, but we were having a question like, what could he have possibly? The board wasn't paired. What hand could he have possibly put
You're talking
Troyce
about
on?
the
not
10-9 of diamonds
Yeah.
hand? Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on this earlier. People are just playing a little bit higher, so they're going to take a little bit longer on the big decisions. You know, maybe I think what happened was there was a bet and then a raise, and it wasn't a raise. It was like kind of a min raise or something like that.
Pre-flop, right? And then Rodham flops top pair with the backdoor flush draw. He bets his top pair. Troyce calls with overcards, and then Rodham he turned the king of diamonds, give him the middle pair and a diamond draw, and he checks that, and then the 7 diamonds comes off on the river. He bets about 3/4 pot, and then Troyce jams on him for about 1,600 more.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about the other hand, the 10-9 of diamonds hand.
That is the 10 out of diamonds.
Oh,
that is
was?
what Rodham had.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, people are just going to take a little bit longer with the decisions when they're playing higher. So I think that's like pretty normal. But I think he was probably always calling with the 10-9 of diamonds. Just no one wants to look silly on a live stream. So
Andrew, you called 130 here pre-flop with 5s.
Yeah, I almost accidentally flipped my cards over when I went to grab my chips, and I was making sure nobody saw my cards. But I think we got a good, honest group of people here, and Rodham did not see my cards. So pretty standard. I called 3-bet here with a pocket pair. Not the flop I had in mind, nor the turn.
I think that's the only pair tonight that didn't flop a set.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for turning your hand into a bluff here on the river, and I think it's pretty close.
You think
I
you
just-
should have turned your hand into a bluff?
Yeah, because
once it checks twice, your
There's not-
fives are never really
there's
good
not
there.
there's not too many hands that he's gonna have there aside from maybe ace jack, ace 10 that I'm beating. So there's a reasonable, it's reasonable to turn your hand into a bluff there, but didn't go for it. Didn't go for it this time. Checked it down. Hoped he had ace jack or ace 10. Bottom's going to win it.
But he might call you there with jacks anyway. Well, he's probably calling you with jacks because you check the king.
He
queen
might, but I
probably
don't know.
Twice.
I think it maybe depends. If I size it pretty big, it's pretty tough for him to call there.
Oh, now Brad's waking up with the hand, and that looks. Is that straddle is on there, right?
Straddle's on.
What do you guys think about the 3 blinds in an 8-handed game?
I'm a fan. The more blinds, the better.
And then like here at the Bellagio, we allow you to straddle the straddle and straddle the straddle around the board, so it can create some really nice pots pre-flop. Okay, what happened to Brad's jacks? You didn't fold. Jacks.
He straddled. So
Oh,
I
that's
think
right.
they,
Okay, yeah, we haven't got back around to him.
Yeah, this was this will be an interesting hand actually. So Dan had been playing pretty much the tightest out of the whole table. He opens from under the gun, and he actually raised to 70. So I think the graphics might be a little bit wrong. So it's 50 more for me to call. And his under the gun range I thought was going to be a lot tighter.
it was for sure tighter.
So I just didn't really
expectedly should be.
consider 3-betting with that hand. And then I'm basically ready to give up once that ace comes and, with the tightest player at the table opening from under the gun.
Oh, man.
So he gets this one through. Sneaky guy. Nice play, Dan. Nice play, dude.
I'm going to tell you, we've seen Dan's hole cards. He wasn't as tight as you guys think.
Was he
was.
not?
Really?
Really?
Oh, man.
He
Yeah.
picked up
Nice work,
a
Dan.
couple of nice pots with continuation bets. A couple of he did have some. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had a couple of really big hands, but he picked up some pots with some nice continuation bets.
Owned.
Dan, I mean, he got me there for sure.
So when you see
So
this
that's
back,
cool.
played back, do you regret not 3-betting the?
No, not really. I mean, you just have to play based on the perceptions you have at the time, and my perception of him was that he was very tight. You don't know, who's card dead and who's not, and what their actual hands are until you look back at the live stream.
My
And they've got 9-8 of hearts.
My perception of him is that he just came from the pawn shop to play this game.
Yeah, we were trying to get him to make some pawn shop jokes. He obviously looks a lot like Rick Harrison.
That's funny because we actually had some comments in the chat
Did you?
that
Yeah.
people thought he looked like. They're asking if he was Rick Harrison.
Yeah, but he was such a cool guy, man. He was a lot of fun to talk to and play with, and as was everybody else. So, and
Oh, look, Jacks again.
Yeah, look at this. I 3-bet with queen 10 offsuit. We run into jacks.
oh, okay, I remember this one.
Moose is gonna do it here. He's gonna play jacks better than Brad.
Not too hard.
What do you think the hardest hand to play in poker is? Is it Jacks? We hear that a lot.
I like jacks. I'll take jacks every hand if I can.
Ryan LaPlante said that the same thing. He's a top 4 hand. He's like, I'll take it every single time.
Yeah, I played with Ryan over during the series. We both played right next to each other in the tag team. He was a really cool guy. I like Ryan a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's a premium hand, so there's a big misconception that jacks are no good or they're tough to play. But just raise pre-flop and be aggressive with them.
And then let pocket fives take down the pot.
Yeah, and then let pocket fives win. The flop comes ace high, and you let Dan
he had 9-8.
c-bet with 9-8 of hearts,
9-8
and
hearts.
you lose.
Which is a great continuation bet by Dan, right? 'Cause
Yeah, it's great. He had a backdoor flush draw. He had a pair. So I mean, he's got a lot of turn cards that he can see bet continue with basically. So another heart, he could bet big.
He's pretty happy. He's pretty happy to pick it up right there because if an overcard rolls off, it's gonna be a pretty crappy spot for him. So he's for sure happy to pick it up there, and then he's got some backdoor possibilities as well, like Brad was saying.
Looks like Nick raised to 40. And is going to get through. There wasn't a whole lot of that tonight. Maybe a little bit early on. There wasn't a whole lot of raises and folding around. There were a lot of defenses here tonight.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of interested in seeing flops and stuff like that. Wanted to put on a show for for people. I did a few silly things that I would normally do. I 3-bet with 8-6 offsuit, 10-6 offsuit, just kind of for fun, basically.
So you
Yeah,
don't you
I
don't
got
like
him.
to mix it up like that?
I mean, I just thought those were good spots. People were kind of raising 100% in certain spots where they're on like the button or the cutoff or whatever. So it seemed like it was a good time for me to open up a little bit. But I'm certainly willing to kind of do a little bit more for live streams than I would ordinarily.
You think that helps you in regular games when people come to like, oh, when we see you play the 8-6 and 3 bets and 10-6?
Yeah, it could.
Can't hurt.
Can't hurt. Yeah.
It can't hurt. But I think generally when we get these games together, it's a pretty casual, pretty light atmosphere. Of course, that could result in some firing off the 5 high for $1,300, which isn't really
No, you play that hand great.
that ideal. It's not that ideal.
But like we said before, if it's any other hand than the ones the 4s or the 8s,
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you just take that down so often there.
Yeah, I
where
mean-
like you can, it's so easy once you know the cards to just be like, oh my god, what is he thinking here? Like, it's just not that. It's not gonna happen that often where you 3-bet, you get called, and the guy has pocket 4s and flops a boat. It's pretty rare.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I think post flop is fine. I mean, pre flop is a little bit loose. I think. I don't know if 5-3.
For sure, but it's also a live stream game, and we're
Yeah.
trying to have fun. So.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
you
is
know,
that-
it's actually interesting because the I believe Habibian was the original raiser and he had 6s, and I made a comment that your hand was going to be bad because you don't have any straight draws there because the 6s are gone, the 4s are gone, and then you flop the flush draw against the 4s. But Habibian actually folded the best hand with 6s there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him to play out of position with a pair. I mean, he's with a small pair. It's every time he doesn't flop a set, he's not going to win. Good Lord, pocket jacks all the time, says Sean LV.
It's amazing. And they only lost once.
When I folded the flop.
All right, there's my casual needle of the night.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Is that a call or a 3-bet by you, Andrew?
I called. I think.
And Nick's coming along for the ride. So we got a pot.
So-
We probably have a pot about 6.
I think there was a double straddle, and then the small blind opened for 210 with queen 10. Ten high flop versus open end straight draw.
This was a pretty key hand in the session, actually.
You've had enough of this hand.
Yeah, we needed the 10 of clubs on this hand instead of the 10 of spades.
All in.
So
Wow.
Mr. Nick is going to put the screws to him, and they're going to get it in here.
Wow.
So
It's a snap
they
call.
run it twice.
Snap call by
Boom.
straight.
The old 6. So he's got the nuts.
He made the flush on the river. Oh no, not a flush. It's a 6 on nuts. He doesn't have a flush draw here. King of clubs.
So they're going to chop it up.
That was exciting.
I like the enthusiasm with that. It's exciting. You're like, that was exciting.
I don't know. Maybe what are your thoughts on running it twice?
I was
for
about
the,
to ask you that question. Like,
In
For the-
general, I'll do whatever anyone wants to do in the
Yeah.
hand. I think that that's the best thing to do as a professional poker player. Just,
Yeah, that's my general thoughts as well. I don't really ask if someone wants to run it twice, but I do if someone else asks me. I'm like, sure, whatever.
yeah,
'Cause
that's how I am.
I don't really care too much. in
so
the
with
long
the
run.
5-3, he asked you if you wanted to run it twice.
Yeah.
That was very generous of him.
Yeah, he's like, I've got a boat.
He probably
here,
thought he probably thought I had a little bit more equity, slightly more, maybe either an 8 or an overpair.
I
which
mean,
might
you
give
should
me
have just
slightly
drilled
more.
that 5 on the river on that first run.
The
out.
first run out, yeah.
That
I
was-
Or an
actually
8.
thought you were
Or an
gonna
8.
get
That would
there.
have been a brutal card.
I would have preferred that as well. But yeah, what do you think about running it twice in these meetup games / live stream games?
Yeah, so for these games, the goal was basically just for everyone to have fun. So running it twice is great for that. You don't want anyone to lose a ton of money. The big pots are exciting and stuff, but I think running it twice is good for these meetup games.
Yeah. People like seeing cards. You know, it's fun seeing all these cards out there in the middle of the table and runouts and stuff.
Yeah, it's exciting even if you're not
Look,
in the hand.
jacks
and you
again.
Wow,
Pocket jacks again.
jacks are hot. Anyway, thanks for having us.
Oh
too.
no,
This
thank
has
you
been
guys
great.
for being here.
It's
This
been
was
a lot of fun.
There's a lot of action in this game tonight. A lot of pots played. I think maybe twice somebody pre-flop raised and got through. You know, like
Yeah, it's been cool. I'm not sure how we're doing in terms of the donations, but Andrew and you guys have provided the link, which
yeah,
is
it's,
really helpful.
all you got to do is you guys are helping out with hurricane relief in Florida, and
This is a pretty exciting hand here. We got a top set versus open ender versus other open ender, and an open jam by the king queen open ender. I'm in there with my open ender, and he just jams like, what is it, $700? I don't know.
there's
That's
no
much
way
choice.
Nick's not calling.
So top set is going to call here.
I run it twice or just once.
They're going to run it twice. So king queen gets there on the first one.
And set of jacks wins the second one.
I think that was
Standard.
kind of the theme of the night was to split it. Unless your name is Andrew Neeme, then you just you just hand money over to the guy next to you.
People are
Yeah.
going to talk about that hand for a long time. So
You think so?
I just
At
don't.
least a week.
I mean, it's just kind of a silly flop. It's just so ridiculous there for Andrew to 3-bet, someone to call with pocket fours, and then to flop a boat.
It's going to be tough for them to call me a nit after this episode.
Okay, true story. They were actually calling you a nit in the chat until that hand. Like, they were talking about how Andrew's knitting it up, and then after that hand, like there was no more discussion about that.
Well, we can always point to this one.
How much did the raise on the flop just like affect your decision there? Because like you said, you wouldn't expect him to raise with a hand that big.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would never expect him to raise with a hand that big. It was pretty much what I was saying before. Like, I expect him to maybe, I mean, a lot of times people will see where they're at with like a pair of nines through jacks or queens even, something like that. So, like I said, I should have aces and kings there. He almost never does. And usually, even if I do happen to get snapped off there, happen to get called, I'll have some flush outs. But yeah,
Moose is raised with a queen 10 of diamonds at early position. I personally like if you're going to play hands like
look at
queen
this.
10 of diamonds.
There's a fake Andrew Neeme in the chat.
There is.
And they say, yeah, we're both getting $5,000 from the Bellagio. Yo, fake Andrew Neeme, you got to chop that up with me.
I mean, I'm just going to keep my 5K. I'm not going to chop it with you, Andrew.
Yeah,
Yeah, because, I mean,
you've earned it.
we're both getting 5K.
You've earned it.
Yeah.
This fake Andrew Neeme hasn't done anything, though, so he's got to chop it up. Plus drink comps, apparently.
Apparently, people don't know. We had this discussion earlier in the stream that drinks are comped in the Bellagio and just about any other casino in the state of Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to tip your waitress, though.
Yes.
But pretty good deal.
Yeah. It's
For sure a good
great
deal. We
And,
had
you know, I don't think everyone knows. You guys have a plethora of like smoothie options as well. You know, I always get like the strawberry Julius or whatever.
Yeah. We also have carrot juice, watermelon juice, and just about every other juice you can think of. We have, and it's all fresh, which is like kind of a cool thing. Like, so the watermelon juice is fresh, sweet, like made every day, and the carrot juice is made every day.
Yeah.
How many watermelons do you think they go through in a day?
A lot, because like it's actually I don't know about outside. I guess I don't know outside the poker room, but in the poker room, watermelon juice is a hot drink. Like a lot of people drink watermelon juice and carrot juice.
In the poker room?
Yeah, like a lot of poker players drink. I guess it's trying to be healthy, so you're not drinking sodas or whatever, and it mixes up with water. I guess, but there's a lot of them. Oh, Nick is waking up with a hand again.
Where do these people find these hands? Kings. It's awesome.
Dan's trying to play my chips? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Dan, you dirty dog.
So Sean has a stack of $873. So he's not sure if he's getting the right odds to set mine with his pocket threes.
What do you think? He's in position.
I think he's in a meetup game and he should call. But he decides no. I do not have the odds.
In
I
a
do not call.
non-meetup game, do you think he should call?
It's pretty close. It's really close. I mean, it's 70 more, so it's like pretty borderline. I don't know. You expect the guy who's raising out of the small blinds to have a pretty strong range, so
Again,
that's good.
There's your chip jar for taking donations for Hurricane
Yeah.
Harvey and Hurricane Irma.
Yep.
If you guys want to know the link to Rubicon, just type !Hurricane in the chat, and it'll take you right there.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we just wanted to let everyone else know in some other affected areas of the U.S. that they're on our minds. And while we're having a good time here playing cards and having some drinks, that's, thinking about those people. And we're not completely
See, you
clueless.
thought Dan was playing tight. He just opens with King 10 of diamonds here.
So what position is Dan in
He's
here?
under the gun.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too...
It's better than
Two out of
flatting,
line.
right?
yeah, well, yeah. King 10 of diamonds, I mean, that's relatively standard to open from under the gun with that hand. I mean, you could fold it. I think that's fine.
Andrew, your
No, you can't.
diamond draw is dying
No, you
dead.
can't.
You cannot fold that.
You cannot fold King 10 of diamonds under the gun?
Depends on the game.
Yeah, it depends on the game. But usually not.
So I call blind here.
You can fold it in a tough game, but it's usually not that tough.
I hope you don't flop top pair here.
Fairly uneventful flop.
Yeah. First one to bet wins.
I
Actually,
mean,
he's gonna check
whoever
around.
wins this flop, I'm just not going to like that guy for the rest of my life.
Whoever wins this hand,
Yeah, yeah. Whoever wins that hand.
looks like this Andrew guy picked up some equity.
Yeah, I'm not real fond of the Andrew guy.
Yeah.
Seed 8.
Yeah.
What the hell is he wearing, for one thing? What
So is
I
that a
don't get
favorable turn for you?
He's got a black shirt, black hat.
Yeah.
Trying to be mysterious?
Looks like he's going to try and steal this with 8 high with a little bit of equity.
So, yeah, so Dan said something on the flop also that made it seem like he had nothing.
Look at that.
So,
Look at that. That hand won somehow.
Oh,
that
wow.
guy won that hand.
wow. Luck box.
That
Well,
guy.
what did Dan say then?
Dan said, I forget what exactly he said, but he said something, and it was kind of a big tell, and I thought that Andrew probably would have picked up on it. So when he bet, I was thinking about possibly doing something silly, but didn't. Because, I mean, even if I did something silly, Andrew probably would have called and got there.
You don't
I've
wanna-
seen his
You don't want
vlogs,
to
that's how he
embarrass your
runs.
friends on live stream either, right?
No, no.
So getting down to it here, getting down to the end of the evening.
For those of you wondering how Brad and Dan can be here commentating this, we are on a 30-minute delay. So their game actually ended about 30 minutes ago. So they are gracious enough to come back and talk about the hands and how they were played.
Yeah, I believe this is the last hand of the live stream.
Do you guys have the 7 deuce game on or anything other than those re-straddles?
No, we had the couple bomb pots
Yes.
this evening. We didn't get the 7 deuce game on. I have mixed feelings about the 7 deuce game. Don't love it, don't hate it. It's just whatever. I like multiple blinds, multiple straddles. Just put a bunch of money in there and see who wins.
So Moose 3-bet with the ace-king to Nick's. How do you like? I don't know what Nick does here. Do you like defending here on the button with King 10 of the clubs?
Yeah, I think it's fine, considering that's the last hand of the night. No, but, yeah, it's. What was the initial raise? Do we know? 60 and then
he
205.
Yeah. Because there was a straddle. It was a $20.
I mean, I guess it's borderline. It's borderline. I don't think Moose is playing too recklessly. It's really, I think it's pretty borderline. It's a royal flush draw, though.
And we haven't had one of those yet on the stream.
A royal flush?
No, a royal flush. We've had
He could have been the
quads and-
first. He could have been a hero. He could have made the first royal flush, but no, he folds.
Again, you've been watching Bellagio Pots. Our next stream is it's tomorrow night. We want to thank Andrew Neeme and Brad Owen for coming out and having it's called the Meetup game. And how do people get into it? Like, how do you?
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
It's I don't know if it's a very easy sort of link, but
Well, probably the easiest way is to go to either my last video or Andrew's. We both have links in the description boxes, so that's probably the best way to find it.
And you just take the first people that respond when you say.
yeah. Well, this one is a little bit different because that's the main live stream table is 8-handed, but normally Brad and I will be swapping seats if we have like 2 or 3 games going. We'll be changing tables and things like that. So if we get 3 tables worth of people, it's a lot easier to spend time with everybody. So feel free to join us at the next one. It'd be awesome to get as many people as possible.
All right, again, we want to thank Brad and Andrew for coming out and doing the Meetup game tonight. I am your host, Dallas Scott. Craig Lump is our something, and John Hardini is our other co-host. Again, we'll see you guys again tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific time. And thank you guys for coming out for Bellagio
Cool.
Pots.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
for having
guys.
us.
Thanks for coming
Yeah.
out.
Thanks so much.